Do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has council had an opportunity to go through the minutes of our meetings from September 15th, executive session on the 15th, and September 24th special meeting?
Yep.
There's no changes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the 3 meetings.
I'll second.
Motion by Robbins, second by Becky. Any questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Any agenda? Is there any changes to the agenda? If not, accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Rick to approve the agenda,
I'll second.
second by Becky. All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Guest and open forum. Greg, I think, is the only one here for something.
Thank you, City Council. Good evening. I'd like to start the meeting this evening with a letter of commendation for our local police chief. If you take a look, I set a copy of the letter on your desk for you to take a look at. I don't plan on reading it verbatim, but I do want to point out a couple of things. 2020 has been a year to remember, to say the least. Early on, a large-scale fire at a local business, and our police chief, Brent Balloon, led that effort along with our local fire department. The number of jurisdictions responding to watch him lead that effort was very impressive. And then by March of 2020, COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic. Again, Brent played a leadership role, continues to play a leadership role in how we're responding to that locally here. Again, kind of has his feet and hands in some of the different jurisdictions at the federal, the state, the local level. I also go on to say a little bit about May and June, social unrest and rioting, and even though we didn't have wide-scale rioting here in Becker, certainly policing in this country has become a topic of conversation, and Brent locally has led his department very professionally, but in addition to that, he has led the profession in the state for sure. Unwavering support for the profession, which I think is important in these times. And if those 3 items weren't enough, along with all of the other daily routine things that he has to do, the president's campaign made a stop here last week, which behind the scenes is a project that takes a lot of time. Again, you have to have conversations with federal, state, other local law enforcement jurisdictions. So what I wanted to be able to do is put this in front of the City Council, a letter of commendation for Brent Balloon, our police chief. The letter I gave to you is, of course, on just plain white paper. The letter that I will give to Brent is suitable for framing. And what I'm going to do, usually, we like to shake hands and thank people. In the COVID scenario, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it here on the podium for Brent. Maybe our local paper would like to take a photo. I'm going to ask him to come up to the podium, say a few words.
Well, not often am I kind of left without words as a police chief.
but I kind of am, so thank you, Greg. When Greg told me about this today, I was a little surprised. This is pretty nice, but I will say this. Singularly, we can't do these things alone. Collectively, we can. So I look at the people I work with here, my staff. This is the work that we've all put in collectively, so thank you. And thanks for getting us through 2020. Hopefully, we won't have a repeat of this next year. Thank you.
And it's well-deserved.
Yes, killing it, Brent.
Up here? Sure. Should I put on my mask, somebody will say something. Thank you.
Okay, no other, yes, moving on to committee reports, budget and finance.
Yes, budget and finance. So we went over the August financials. We did not have any major outliers, other than what we've talked about before. We continue to watch, obviously, the community center and golf continues to have its better than expected year, and that has continued. Let's see, Osa Inquiry Audit 2019, there's, the OSA just had some questions about our 2019 audit where they do some follow-up, and so we just had it reported to us that we had, given the OSA their follow-up information, and then no further information was needed, so it was just a report back on that. It was a rather short meeting. We did afterwards we did a walkthrough on some of the modeling that we had talked about at our previous meetings for budgeting. We walked kind of a detailed walkthrough on some of the modeling there. So.
Okay, fire board.
That'd be me. We met on the 21st. A couple things we went through is they are renewing an app for 5 years. It's called I Am Responding, so it just kind of keeps all the locals so they know who's going to the fires, who's not. It's just an app for them that they renewed. They also renewed their Pioneer Critical Power Generator and accepted a donation from Faith Lutheran Church. And that's about it for the fire board.
You want to do the golf committee at the same time?
Sure. Golf committee, we met on the 22nd. We talked about, obviously, our current financials. They are doing awesome, considering, what Rick just said, too, what kind of year they have had. They're doing great. We also talked about the replacement of a new range picker, because, as we know, that got stolen and never found. And just kind of talked about just some safeguards and some rulings that we're going to do about kids biking from their homes to the golf course to golf, just what was going to all entail. Just maybe, signing a waiver, knowing what ways they have to take, and just stay out of the golfer's way, and that's about it.
Okay. Joint planning,
Canceled.
canceled. Good. We can go on to something else. Excel, Becky.
Okay, yeah, that's me again. Okay. There's just some key points. Obviously Excel does their breakfast every year, which we all did on Zoom. We did not get the breakfast in person. That's right. But anyway, some key points. So it looks like here they're going to be integrating a resource plan is going to be delayed, could be several more delays. They're moving large-scale solar forward, especially around the Sherco plant. Let's see, they reinforce that the natural gas plant will be a pathway to carbon-free. And the intent is for the Becker natural gas plant will convert into hydrogen as technology continues to develop. And there also may be an opportunity to use RDA money for that development.
Okay. Planning Commission, you want to do that, Rick?
Yes, sure. I was not at the breakfast, so that's
I was at the breakfast. Not eating
planning-
breakfast.
the breakfast. Planning Commission, we met just last Monday. We had a public hearing, which was for the item that we have 9B tonight, the preliminary final plats for T-Town. That one we're with then. We also called for a public hearing at our next meeting, which is October 26th, relating to home occupation code edits. We had some discussion about that before, about some defining of that. So we'll have the public hearing for that in October, and then council probably would see that in November. We had also, final thing was discussion on accessory building height or garage building height, and just the, no action was taken, it was just discussion on it. As far as, I think our current garage height is like 17 feet or something like that, and I'm not a architectural engineer, so I don't know all the correct terms there, but talking about moving that to a different height, and so we had some discussion about that amongst the planning commission. Again, no action taken on that, just discussion. So.
Okay. Public hearing for tobacco ordinance update. We'll call that public hearing, and Julie will give this little presentation here.
All right, so good evening, Mayor and Council. So recent changes to law required an update to the city's tobacco code. The ordinance being presented to you tonight reorganizes the current code, as well as making those updates required by the statute, which is 461.12. 3 of the major updates included were raising the legal purchasing age from 18 to 21, increasing administrative fines from 100, 250, and 750 to 300, 600, and 1,000 respectively for each subsequent fine for selling to minors. And then the final one was increasing the look-back period for subsequent violations from 1 year to 3 years. The proposed code was sent out to all the current license holders, so they were made aware of these changes. So I'll answer any questions, or we can open the public
Did
hearing.
any of them respond?
I did not hear, I did get one response, a call in. They were wondering what the changes were, and I said we're just following state statute. There were no additional ones, as we had discussed at exec session. Any other questions, or? Yes.
Actually, I did open it already. I didn't say what time I'd opened it though.
So then we'd need the motion to close the public hearing.
You have
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
a motion by Robin, to close the hearing,
I'll second.
second by Becky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. At this point in time, then, we're looking for a motion to pass ordinance 228, second series. Unless there's any questions, I'd entertain a motion to do so.
Motion to approve ordinance 228, second series, amending chapter 6, section 6.20 relating to tobacco.
We'll second that.
Motion made by Rick, seconded by Robin. Any other questions? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 228, second series, summary for publication purposes.
Motion to approve a summary,
I'll second.
motion by Rick, second by Becky. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Board and committee and consultant reports.
Thank you, Council. So over the past year or so, staff has been working throughout all departments on reviewing current policies, editing policies, and then creating new policies depending on the different projects at hand. So within the economic development, part of community development, one of our policies has been the business incentive program. This was originally established back in 2006. And it is part of your packet tonight. So what it is, it's basically a 1% rebate on landscaping and other property costs. This policy or program has not been funded for numerous years. We don't promote it, we don't market it. We do have our business subsidy policy, which we've been using in the past years. So EDA's recommendation is to remove this policy with the intent on improving our business subsidy policy. So there could be some creative things that we do in the future. But since this program is not funded or utilized, we are recommending removing the program. And that would just be recommended as a motion and second to terminate that program.
Anybody have any questions over?
I'll make a motion to terminate the business incentive program.
Give a motion by Becky
I'll second that.
and a second by Robin to terminate the business development program. Any questions? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Preliminary and final plat for T-Town plat, Marie?
So I'm very excited to bring this to you tonight. We are nearing completion finally for this project. So for those that aren't familiar, so the T-Town area, this is the part of town near where Charlie's is or Becker Township. The city owns multiple parcels in that area, and some of them are very small, very odd shaped. So over the last couple of years, we've been working through some title issues, and we are finally getting to the point where we can bring the prelim and final plat in front of you. There is a contingency listed within both of them that the final registration or title work needs to be completed, which we are expecting to be in the near future. The judicial landmarks will be completed in November, and then there is a piece that has to go to the Sherburne County, through the Sherburne County court system, which right now they are not scheduling this right now due to COVID. So once that court opens back up, we'll be able to get that final piece finished. So we're getting the plat done tonight, contingent upon final title work, and then we'll be able to get this recorded and finally move forward with hopefully a sale of property in the near future, which we are working on a purchase agreement for one of the lots already. So tonight before you is the prelim and final plat. We are recommending doing both together just for time. So Resolution 20-74 would be approving the prelim plat for T-Town, and then Resolution 20-75 would be the final plat approval. Like I said, with those conditions that once the title work is done, we can get this recorded. So otherwise, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions on it?
Just that it's 3 years old, and this is awesome. And we'll be having a 3-year-old birthday party with cake at the community center afterwards.
Now, if COVID would go away and we can open the courts again, then
More of a statement rather than questions.
Yes.
We're glad to see it happening. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2074.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2074.
Motion by Robin,
I'll second.
second by Becky. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And Resolution 2075, the final plat.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2075.
Motion by Robin,
I'll second.
second by Becky. Any questions? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Marie.
Yep.
Administrator staff reports, Northern States Power, XL Energy, Marie Flipson.
Thank
Assessments.
you, Council. So tonight before you is a special assessment agreement with Northern States Power doing business as XL Energy. So when this past couple build seasons, we implemented or built out Energy Drive, and the water and sewer extensions were part of that project as well. So since XL Energy properties were benefited from that infrastructure improvement, they have agreed to a special assessment for basically their share of those costs. So tonight before you, as an attachment, and then there's a resolution that goes along with it, Resolution 20-76, is an approval of this draft assessment agreement. The final version, it would be with approval from the city attorney, so there's a couple final details that need to be worked in yet. But the net budget result would be just over 1.5 million in assessments towards that project. So actually that net project would be a net zero to taxpayers. Otherwise, any questions? Otherwise, a motion and second for that resolution would be appreciated.
questions? If not, do I have a motion for 20-76?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 26, authorizing assessment to Northern States Power for Energy Drive, it's supposed to be 4 water and sewer extensions.
We have a motion by Rick,
I'll second that.
second from Robin. Any other discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. And then we go to 2077. SCH, supplemental letter of agreement with SCH. Phil?
Good evening, Council. In front of you tonight, we have a supplemental letter agreement with SCH regarding some engineering, or proposed engineering for 2021 capital improvement projects. The reason we're doing this is, as we went through the budgeting cycle, there's several projects that are kind of slated for 2021, but we're in limbo slightly, one because of the bonding and that funding request, and not sure what project's going to get the nod or the go-ahead. So instead of waiting until we have a better understanding of that, what we would like to do is get some of the engineering work done yet this fall before the snow flies, so we can get some of the topo work done. And if we do this, if you choose to move this thing forward, this work being done, whether the project gets done in 2021 or 2022 or even later than that, this work is not in vain. It'll go on the shelf and we'll use it when we're ready for these projects. We've identified them. We know that we need to do this work. It's just a matter of timing based on funding. So the funding side of it being a little bit up in the air, after meeting with Greg on this, we thought the best fund to choose from would be the future improvement funds for this funding source right now. And then once the projects do get slated, they would go in their respective CIPs and that funding source would be applied at that point. So the funding, or the projects that we're talking about are Bank Street, First Street, Liberty from Sherburne Avenue South to the recently constructed portion of Liberty Lane from the 2019 road construction project, and then the force main under Highway 10 through to the water plant. So some of that work would, or the engineering, prelim engineering would be the work that would be done on those projects.
And this is stuff that we're going to do anyway, so we might as well get the engineering done.
Yes. All of it's been identified either in 2021 or 2022. Like I said, depending on if our funding or bonding comes through, we could have to shuffle the deck a little bit, but the work is slated to get done. They're all top 1, 2, or 3 on our priority list.
Do they have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2077.
Motion to approve Resolution 20-77, supplemental letter agreement with SCH for the preliminary work on the 2021 capital project.
Motion by Rick,
I'll second.
second by Becky. Any questions? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Becker Community Center restroom remodel. Bart? You don't get to visit us very often.
This is my first time.
Welcome, Bart.
I was practicing on saying, good evening, Mayor and Council, and it's just Council, so good evening, Council. Did I pass the first test? No. So in front of you today is a RCA for Becker Community Center restroom remodel. It's part of our BCC 2020 CIP project, the building improvements line item. And attached, you have 2 quotes as well as some photos of the existing restroom fixtures that we're looking to replace. The main restroom in the community center, both men's and women's, has seen its life. I believe it's only been remodeled once in the 25-plus years that the building's been open. Currently, we are working on replacing the faucets, the sinks, and the vanity in that area as part of the CARES funding and projects. And this project right now would make sense to kind of complement doing those things. So it'd be swapping out the partitions in the toilets, as well as going to hands-free air dryers in both the women's restroom as well as the men's and women's locker rooms. Currently, there's just push-button ones. In the men's restroom, there already is the touchless ones. Those are the only ones. We had those donated several years back, and that's the only restroom that has them. So in completion of this project, it would help, it kind of falls in line with our, what we're trying to do with our building improvements, which is give some freshness to the facility, as well as it starts to position us to go to hands-free with a lot of our restroom amenities to help with all the COVID stuff that we're trying to combat right now. So we would look to obviously do that out of CIP, and then you can see on your notes there that there potentially could be the opportunity to get the dryers paid for through the CARES fund, but as of right now, just planning on using CIP until further notice. Can open it up for any questions. I will say, we're going with a hammered stainless steel, and that matches the ones that are already in the locker rooms, as well as the hammered will hopefully hide some of the blemishes that come with a public restroom and the wear and tear that those partitions take. So, any questions?
What's the average life expectancy on like dividers and stuff in a typical, like for what we're doing here?
I don't want to make up an answer. I can get back to you on that. My guess would be, these are well over 10 years old, and they've seen their life. A lot of it, a lot of it's just with families and everything else, kind of the wear and tear that it takes more than anything, so. All right. I would be delighted if I could get a motion and a second to approve engaging Building Material Supply, Inc. for the completion of the community center restroom remodel.
I'll make the motion to approve engaging building material supply for the completion of the community center restrooms remodel.
Motion by Rick,
I'll second that.
second from Robin. Any other questions for Bart?
Awesome. Thank you.
Not, all in favor, signify by
Aye.
aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Don't shoot chickens before they hatch.
There might have been an A in there.
Okay, consent agenda. We do have a revised consent agenda.
City Council, yes, October 6th, 2020 revised consent agenda. Item number 1 is a hiring and termination report form, including Public Works, Community Center, and Pebble Creek Golf Course. Item number 2 is a range picker replacement at Pebble Creek Golf Club. Remember, that was a theft, and that's coming out of our revolving insurance capital. Item number 3 is a job description and position reclassification for the Community Development Director. That's jumped through personnel. Item number 4, declaring police radios as surplus and ordering their disposal. Remember, that's just procedural. Item number 5, Center for Tech and Civic Life Grant Agreement. That's a grant that our city clerk, Julie Belize, has procured for us. It's in the amount of $5,000. And then item number 6 is an addition, which is resolution 20-78, accepting a donation. And that donation is from Knife River, and that is for a basketball court. And remember, we'll be leveraging some of our internal dollars with those external dollars. So before you know it, we're going to need a person to do our capital investment coordinating. But for today, that is the consent agenda. If you have any questions, I can certainly try to answer them.
Is it $5,000, is that for the election?
That is for the elections, $5,000 for elections.
So we got that then, or?
We did receive it. This is accepting that donation.
Cool. I like free money.
We all do.
Anybody else have any questions on the consent agenda? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for October 6th.
Motion by Becky,
Second.
second by Rick. Any other questions? Not, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Payment of bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second that?
We have a motion by Rick, second by Robin to pay the bills. Any questions? Not all in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Anniversaries, we do not have any anniversaries this month. Unbelievable.
Oh.
Didn't I hear it was somebody's birthday? And with that, unless there's something else council would like to bring up for the betterment of the community, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned.